Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Jiawei. I'm a senior software engineer and a marketing lead from Gen C. So actually, what is Gen C? Gen C is a Gen AI learning community in Singapore whose mission is to upskill the general public with latest Gen AI tools and techniques. I'm also an AWS community builder who contributes to the AWS community through articles or knowledge sharing sessions like this. I'll be addressing questions after the talk, and also I'll be sharing the slides at the end. Or you can scan the QR code for my LinkedIn profile if you want to add me on LinkedIn. So for today's agenda, I'll be giving a background and activities of Gen C, and I'll be giving an introduction to what is LangChain and Amazon Bedrock, and I will talk about the steps how to create a basic Streamlit generative AI app, and I'll talk about the steps to deploy the app on the Streamlit Cloud, and also I'll do a quick demo and share about some of my lessons learned from developing to deploying the app using LangChain and using Claude on Amazon Bedrock. So basically, Gen C was actually created in June 2024 as a LearnX community under the National Library Board. And this is our mission, which I talked about just now. So we partner with Amazon Web Services, which provides us with technical expertise and support. And like last year, we actually held the AWS Singapore Nationwide LLM League, and we conducted 5 prompt engineering and LLM fine-tuning workshops, and we upskilled about 1,200 Singapore residents. So in the LLM League, participants learn how to use AWS machine learning services such as Jumpstart, SageMaker, and they submit the model to the virtual leaderboard to be judged by an LLM, and the score is used to rank against other people. And then the top 28 people won Amazon shopping vouchers and swag, and the top 5 finalists actually competed in a physical finale held in front of a live audience and judges, and they showcase their prompt engineering skills using their LLM to answer questions. So actually, we also participated in the Skills Future Roadshow in August last year to advertise Gen C and the prompt engineering and LLM fine-tuning workshops for the LLM League. And like I mentioned, we conducted several workshops, both physical and online, and these are some of the photos of the LLM League finale held last year at the held at the Raffles City Convention Center. And then we also did a deep dive session with the top 5 finalists of the Singapore Nationwide LLM League. And then in the deep dive session, the 5 finalists reviewed their winning strategies in this in-person forum at the Punggol Library. And we also had a short Q&A segment where the finalists answered several questions from the audience. And also last year, we participated in the Make It Together Festival event organized by Singapore National Library Board, where technology meets creativity. So we use AWS PartyRock generative AI to print stickers for the public. And we also had 2 Gen AI talks about RAG and how to build a Gen AI app. And this year we have the ASEAN Student LLM League, which was just recently concluded. So we conducted 1 workshop in March for 6 ASEAN countries for about 1,200 students. And then the workshop was held physically in Singapore and then live streamed to other countries. So, and also recently in the ATX Summit, which some of you may have attended, we had the finale, and the winners won some AWS Cloud credit. And also, since February 2025, Gen C also started monthly Gen AI sharing to the public. Some of the sharings were on like AI agents and small language models. Okay, so enough about Gen C. Let me give an introduction to LangChain. So if you are not aware, so LangChain is a toolkit developed in 2022 that connects AI models to real-world data, tools, and memory. And it also helps you build intelligent apps faster. If LLM like GPT or Claude are the brains, then LangChain is the body that helps them interact with the world. So basically, LangChain gives you modular building blocks to create smart AI apps using basically 6 building blocks: memory, chains, tools, prompts, agents, and indexes. So very quickly, so memory, we let the AI remember past interactions. Chains is like link steps together for complex workflows. Using tools, you can connect to APIs, web search, or calculators. Using prompts, you can design how the AI responds. Using agents, you can let the AI decide what to do. Indexes are data structures and utilities that help organize, store, and retrieve documents or text data for use with LLMs. So using LangChain, you can enhance LLM, such as basically you can use LangChain to search the web, read your PDF, remember previous conversations, use external tools or APIs, and you can make decisions like a reasoning agent. So about chat models in LangChain. So chat model is an interface to interact with LLMs in a conversational format. So chat models offer a wide range of benefits, such as keeping track of multi-turn conversations, such as using conversation buffer memory. You can enable contextual AI assistance using conversation history or external knowledge retrieval results. You can perform step-by-step reasoning, right? Using like, you can perform step-by-step reasoning, for example, through sequential chains, and also using the React, which is the reasoning plus acting pattern. You can output structured data like JSON to feed into apps or workflows. And you can make 2 API calls for dynamic actions. Also, LangChain provides different flavors of interfaces to many models across providers. So you have this LangChain library, which provides different interfaces to models. And also, core models are officially supported. Using the LangChain community interface is basically community-maintained models and integrations. Using the LangChain AWS library, you can invoke Bedrock and AWS native integrations. So some of the key methods of chat models include invoke, stream, batch, bind, tools with structured output. So about LangChain tools, you can enable dynamic AI actions and smart conversations using tools, tooling calling, and messages. So tools let your AI interact with the real world, like using a calculator, fetching data, or triggering workflows. Tool calling enables the AI to trigger real-world actions via functions. Messages are how you and the AI communicate, structured by roles like user, assistant, and tool, and enriched with contents like text or images. Tools also wrap Python functions with a schema that the model can understand, and tools can be passed into chat models that support tool calling. You can also use the annotation at tool decorator to turn any function into a tool. And also, LangChain defines tools using the base tool class, which you can pass in the name, description, arguments, the invoke method, and the a invoke method. So basically, a message is a basic unit of communication between you and a chat model, and includes role, content, and metadata. So role is who sent the message. Content is what was said, example, the text, image, or audio. And metadata is like extra info like message ID or token usage, etc. So about LangChain embeddings. So embedding models convert human language into a numerical representation called a vector and captures its semantic meaning. So machines no longer need exact keyword matches to find relevant content, and you can now search by meaning. So LangChain simplifies working with embeddings by offering a unified interface with 2 central methods, which is embed documents and embed query. So embed documents is for embedding multiple texts used to search against, and embed query is used for embedding a single search query. Vectors are stored in vector stores so we can search them later. And our databases optimized to store and retrieve high-dimensional vectors efficiently. And LangChain offers support for many vector stores such as FAISS, Pinecone, Weaviate, Chroma, Redis, and Amazon OpenSearch. So LangChain connect embedding models with vector stores seamlessly, right? So you can embed your documents, you can store them in a vector store. When a query comes in, you embed it, and then search the vector store for nearest matches. So you can do this setup to build powerful apps like AI search assistants, chatbot with memories, and RAG pipelines. Introduction to Amazon Bedrock. So what is Amazon Bedrock? Amazon Bedrock is a fully managed service from AWS that enables you to build and scale generative AI applications without having to manage the underlying infrastructure. So key features of Amazon Bedrock include access to multiple foundational models from providers like Claude, Meta, and then you get a serverless experience where you only pay for what you use. And then you have the ability to customize models with your own data through fine-tuning. You can extend the power of LLMs with your data using RAG and agentic workflows with model evaluation and testing tools. And then you have enterprise-grade security and privacy controls, including responsible AI and guardrails. And also you can integrate with other services such as SageMaker, Lambda, and S3. and you can basically deploy Gen AI capabilities while maintaining control over your data and applications. So you need to do some pre-setup before calling Amazon Bedrock in your program, right? So firstly, you need to create an AWS account and create an IAM user or role in the AWS console. And then after creating the user, you need to go to the security credentials tab to create an access key and a secret access key, which are needed to invoke the Bedrock API. And then you need to go to the Amazon Bedrock service in the console to modify the model access because you need to submit the request for the model, for example, Claude Sonnet. Right, then you need to take note what's the model ID and the region name because you will need to include these details in your program code. And you may need to use the cross-region profile ID to ensure your request is routed correctly. So you can find the cross-region profiles ID at the Amazon Bedrock service page at the cross-region inference webpage. So after that, you need to create a role named Bedrock role. Under IAM service, there will be accessing Bedrock resources. And then you will need to create a policy named Bedrock policy. Then you need to upload a JSON file containing 2 permissions, which is the Bedrock and Marketplace, to the Bedrock policy in AWS console. And you will need to download Python 3.12 to create your Streamlit Gen AI app. So this comes with pip. If you are not aware, it's a package manager which allows you to install, update, and remove Python packages. So you can check if pip is installed by running the command, and you need to create a virtual environment using the command because using the virtual environment, right, you will create an isolated Python environment where actions only affect the environment and not the global Python installation on your system. So it creates an isolation crucial for managing project-specific dependencies without risking conflicts with other projects. And it provides a consistent and controlled development and execution environment. So when you are in the virtual environment folder, you can use pip to install, update, or remove dependencies, and it will only affect the current virtual environment. So you can activate the virtual environment using the command differently for Windows and Mac. If you don't need the virtual environment, you can deactivate, right? Then you need to create a requirements.txt file, which, if you're not aware, it contains the Python dependencies or the so-called the libraries. So to actually install the libraries in the requirements.txt file, you just run the command as shown above. So basically, let me talk about what is Streamlit. So if you are not aware, Streamlit is an open source Python library that makes it easy to create and share custom web apps for machine learning and data science. So by using Streamlit, you can quickly build and deploy powerful data applications. Right? You can do this in minutes instead of weeks, and you can build dashboards, generate reports, or create chat apps. And you must include the Streamlit library in the requirements.txt file. Right? So basically, below are 2 examples of the Python files containing Streamlit components, which is the Streamlit app file and the About Us file. So for the demo later, I've configured a config class that stores the access keys. Let me get my laser pointer. It creates, I've defined a config class that stores the access keys loaded from the secrets file, which contains the AWS service name and region name. And I've also created the main program Streamlit app, where actually the UI is defined here, and actually you load the configuration in the Streamlit app file. And then you can run Streamlit app locally as the Python module by running the command as shown. And each time you make changes to the code, right, Streamlit detects a change and displays the message source file change. And you can choose to always rerun to auto-update your app every time you make a code change, right? And there are 2 ways of writing to your Streamlit app. You can use either st.write or you can use magic commands. So st.write is like you pass data, such as text, for example. And magic commands are actually simply any variable or literal values in the program, which are auto-written to the app implicitly, like using st.write. So for storing secrets, right? Basically, the correct practice actually is to create secrets file locally using the TOML format, using TOML format. So it's like secrets.toml, and you store it in a folder named .streamlit, and you access local secrets using this so-called syntax st.secrets, right? So it's like you store the secret in a map format, right? So basically, you can store the AWS access key ID and the AWS secret access key in the Streamlit secrets file. So how to deploy the Gen AI app on the Streamlit Cloud, right? So basically, there are 3 methods which you can use: GitHub, existing templates, or Snowflake. And you can also deploy on like Amazon EC2, Azure, and Google App Engine, right? So I will not talk about what is GitHub. I'm sure you know, right? So you can create a .gitignore file to prevent accidentally pushing local secrets or environment values to GitHub repository. So this is an example of what a gitignore file looks like, where you indicate like your virtual environment folder, and then like you include like the secrets file which should not be pushed to GitHub. So if you accidentally push your AWS secret key to GitHub, right? So like AWS will send you an email asking you to remove the key, or your AWS account will be suspended. So if you push other LLM keys such as OpenAI or Anthropic, right, your keys are immediately suspended. So, right, Streamlit Community Cloud allows you to deploy, manage, and share your app. And to sign up for Streamlit Community Cloud, you can use either GitHub, Google, or you can do a one-time email code. So, like, what I did is I used GitHub to deploy my Gen AI app. So you access the URL share.streamlit.io, you click workspace, then you click connect GitHub account and authorize Streamlit. So if you are using Visual Studio Editor, right, you go to source control and then you click initialize repository, which creates a new Git repository in the current folder and allow you to start tracking code changes, right? So don't select push to GitHub, as all your code, including the secrets file or environment file, will be pushed to GitHub. And then, stage commit and push the necessary files, except for the Streamlit folder and the secrets file. So the next step is you can click create app and select deploy a public app from GitHub, and then you select your repository, which could be the main branch, and then the main file path, and then enter a suitable app URL. Then next, deploying, right? Go to advanced settings, you can select the Python version, and then under secrets, you provide your AWS access key and secret access key, right? So it's basically the same thing that you define in your secrets file, right? Then you click save changes and then click the deploy button. So the deploy app will appear in your list of apps. So let me give like a short demo of the Streamlit app which I created using LangChain and Bedrock. So I used 2 models for this demo, Claude 3.5 Sonnet V2, which is used for conversational AI and text generation, and excel at tasks like writing, analysis, coding, and general reasoning. And also use Amazon Titan embeddings, which is an embedding model that converts text into numerical vector representations and used for RAG, semantic search, and retrieval. So basically, this is the Streamlit console, which you can see several Streamlit apps which I deployed previously. So this one is actually the app which I deployed for the purpose of this demo. So, right, you can see several settings, right? The Python version, the app URL. Then, I selected this security where where specific people can only view this app, so it's not publicly available to view, right? So actually, there are several use cases which I created, right? So there's educational content creator where you can actually create content, Yeah, and you can generate code and actually summarize documents and chat with your document. And actually, there's a research assistant where you actually use agentic workflow, which invoke some tools, and you can do certain use cases, right? So for the educational content creator, so like you can select a topic like LangChain, and you can create content related to LangChain. Like you can see, right, understanding what is LangChain, what are the concepts. Yeah, you can even create practical examples, code examples, and list benefits, what are the applications. Yeah, so, okay, this one is still loading. So like there's another feature which I created, which is chat with your document. So I uploaded the requirements.txt file to the Streamlit app, and I asked how many LangChain libraries are there. So basically, it counted like there are 8 LangChain libraries in the requirements.txt file, which is used in my app. So like there's another feature of this app, document summarizer. So it summarizes the document, right? So you paste in like a long chunk of text, then you can summarize it. Basically, you can summarize it brief, detailed, or standard. Then you can also generate code based on what you want to build. Like, for example, you want to build a booking app where students can book mentorship sessions with your seniors, and using Streamlit. So like very quickly, it generated some code, right, using Streamlit. Yeah, basically you can just copy and paste all this code as some kind of like boilerplate to kickstart your application. Yeah, so like the last feature of this app is a research assistant, which I mentioned. It uses agentic workflow with multiple tools. So there are some tools which I have included, which is calculator used for calculations, analyze text, and can use it to get current date time, calculate date differences. So for this example, I actually asked it to analyze this text, which actually this text actually describes that I'm so frustrated with the slow shipping time. I asked it to describe the sentiment. So basically, right, this research assistant, it described the sentiment as clear negative because of the word frustrated. Then it talks about it's a complaint about what and why it is a negative sentiment, right? Yeah. So yeah. So like you can select the models. So for the document upload, I selected Amazon Titan text embeddings. For the rest, I chose Claude 3.5 Sonnet V2. So this is it for the demo. So like just to summarize what the demo is. So basically there are like 5 features. So for 3 of the features, I use prompt templates and template variables and LangChain. So prompt template is a string template which we can pass variables to generate our final string. And then template variables are basically like, placeholders where you substitute actual values. And LangChain, right, it takes some input, process it, which involve LLM calls, data transformation, or external API calls, and produces an output. Then for the document chat, actually it uses memory, embeddings, vector store, and document loader and splitter. So document loader is actually like class that extract and load content from various file formats and sources into a standardized format that LangChain can work with. And for splitters, it breaks large documents into smaller chunks that fit within the context window. Then yeah, for the research assistant feature, I use agents, tools, and memory. Yeah, so yeah. Coming to the end of the presentation, I'm gonna share some lessons I learned from developing to deploying the app. So, right, using Gen AI coding assistants like Amazon Q Developer or maybe ChatGPT, Gemini, it helps to speed up code development when facing issues or you are unsure, how to use certain LangChain features or Streamlit components. And then also, like I found out the hard way that if you push API keys from LLM right to GitHub, you will lose the API key because it will be terminated, right? So then I also found out that if your Streamlit app works locally, it doesn't mean the cloud deployment will work, right? So take for example like the Chroma DB for the document chat, it worked locally, but it didn't work when I deployed the Streamlit app to the cloud lah. So I needed to actually make some changes, like I need to add certain libraries to make it work. And also you may need to baseline certain dependencies in the requirements.txt. For example, you need to set the Streamlit version to be 1.30. So here are some references and useful information that I included. Right, LangChain documentation, Bedrock, and I also wrote an article how I use Bedrock and QDeveloper to build a game, right? Streamlit documentation lah. Then, yeah, there's an upcoming Gen C June sharing about Gen AI at the Pongo library, where we're exploring modular design principles for LLM applications and deep dive into how these LLMs understand, generate, and engage with natural language. Then quick shout out to the AWS Community Day Singapore. So actually, right, it's a full day in-person event on 2nd August where we bring together AWS users, developers, and technologies. And you can explore real-world AWS solution, deep dives, community-powered innovation about cloud architecture and security to Gen AI and more. And it's organized by the AWS User Group Singapore. Yeah, and also there's food and snacks. So you are eligible for early bird discount of $20 if you register before 20 June. Thank you for listening to this presentation. You can follow Gen C on Discord and you can download the slides. And you can check out our website using the QR code. Yeah, and I will take any questions.